All right, welcome. Time for a little friendly fire. Royce White is going to join me for this, Whitlock and Royce. Royce, welcome back. You have to talk me off a cliff. We may really have some friendly fire going back and forth here. I'm starting to question my allegiance to Donald Trump as he keeps making statements that frustrate me. I want to play you the first one. Here he is talking with Megyn Kelly, talking about the trans issue. This really frustrated me.
Can a man become a woman?
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman. I think part of it is birth. Can the man give birth? No, although they'll come up with some answer to that also someday. I heard just the other day, they have a way that now the man can give birth. No, I would say I'll continue my stance on that.
Royce, I didn't like that answer. And then I want to play you Donald Trump on Meet the Press talking about abortion. Let's watch.
Mr. President, I want to give voters who are going to be weighing in on this election a very clear sense of where you stand on this.
I think they're all going to like me. I think both sides are going to like me.
What's going to have to
happen is you're going to have to listen.
Please.
You're asking me a question. What's going to happen is you're going to come up with a number of weeks or months. You're going to come up with a number that's going to make people happy, because 92% of the Democrats don't want to see abortion after a certain period of time.
If a federal ban landed on your desk, if you were reelected, would you sign it at 15
Are you
weeks?
talking about a complete ban?
A ban at 15 weeks?
Well, people are starting to think of 15 weeks. That seems to be a number that people are talking about right now.
Would you sign that?
I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something, and we'll end up with peace on that issue for the first time in 52 years. I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a 5-week and 6-week ban.
Would you support that? You think that
I
goes
think what
too
he
far?
did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake.
You know what I always loved about Donald Trump is he didn't talk or sound like a politician. He just told you what he thought. There was no hesitancy. It wasn't about poll numbers. Particularly as it relates to abortion, that sounded like a politician trying to thread a line and say what's politically acceptable. Talk me off a cliff here, Royce. These two, it does, again, I've never voted. I plan to vote in 2024.
Yeah.
But answers like that hurt my enthusiasm.
Well, okay, for all of the people who are new to the audience and haven't heard me talk about abortion at great length on previous shows, I'll start by saying my stance is avidly pro-life. I believe that birth is at the moment of conception, and even furthermore, I've said this before on the show, any precept of civil rights or human rights must begin with the sanctity of life. Effectively, they do begin with the sanctity of life, the protection or the continuance or preservation of human rights and civil rights is a sanctity of life issue. And so sanctity of life is a cornerstone of American citizenship, but is also a cornerstone of citizenship anywhere in the world, or any human rights anywhere in the world that we claim to protect. The abortion issue, as far as, here's the issue. I can talk about it like that because I'm 32 years old and I'm not plagued by this sort of boomer obsession with elections being mathematical and material. I think all of the boomers suffer from that post-World War II boomer syndrome of thinking of elections and much of American life as being a material and mathematical matter. I think of politics broadly, as a cultural and spiritual matter, and abortion is the same way. Donald Trump, as he's shown many times, is very much consumed with the strategy of politics. And I'm not saying that it's not worthwhile, that he should be and that he's rightful that he's consumed with the strategy of politics. He has to worry about winning in 2024. I have to worry about the future of the country at 32 years old. He's 75 years old, 75 plus. I don't know his exact age. He has to worry about winning in 2024. He has to worry about winning in 12 months. I have the luxury to not have to worry about even being eligible to run for president for another 3 years. And so that's something to consider. As far as the abortion as a moral issue goes, you know, the morality of it is clear for us Christians. It's a sin. The question is the moral hazard that's built up in this country around all of our American life, but specifically abortion as an issue. Now, you know, where we are on it morally is again, it's clear cut. It's a sin. It's wrong. The question is, how do you win an election when the issue has become charged the way that it is? And it's clear that women have been brainwashed to believe that their sole political power is anchored in their right to kill their children if they so choose. And I think that it's predatory, it's manipulative, it's intentional. It's been done to them. They are a victim of that mentality, and it's not coincidence. It was strategic. And this is the cultural wedge issue that is defining American politics. Now, I don't really think it's defining American politics at bottom, but certainly on the surface, it's the issue that people cling to from a Democrat-Republican dichotomy. And so I think Donald Trump is trying to do his best to play within that game. And again, to go a step further, all of us Christians have to be honest enough, look ourselves in the mirror and say, this Christian nation let abortion get as far as it got. That's a reality. And if this country was as Christian as it claims to be, abortion would have never gotten to this place in the first place. So to think that we're going to turn around and walk our way back 60 years is naive. It's immature. It's irrational. It's illogical. And I think Donald Trump is basically saying in that clip, hey, most Democrats would like to have some type of ban placed on abortion. The question is, what's the right time? Now, for us Christians, we say there is no right time. There 0 weeks, 0 days. It's never right. The question is, for us conservatives and Christians, is a 6-week ban better than a 15-week ban? Is a 15-week ban better than a 9-month ban? Is a 15-week ban better than a post-birth free for all? These are questions to consider. I mean, all the easy answers are behind us now. All the easy answers are behind us now.
I like your point, and I get your point that, like, this guy has to get elected. And so you're basically insinuating, perhaps fairly, that he may not be in position to say exactly what he thinks, or he may not be, if he takes the hardcore Christian position, it may cost him the election. And then what are we dealing with? Perhaps a Gavin Newsom and the state of California that is even discussing post-birth abortions. And so you're saying, Jason, perhaps be a bit more pragmatic here. Don't fall, because think of who the woman is questioning him, and they're trying to bait that discussion to turn off people like me on Donald Trump. I get all that, but Megyn Kelly wasn't trying to bait him, I don't think, when she asked him about the trans issue. And I didn't like that response, all that hemming and hawing. We got to dance around the trans issue too. Abortion, I get. Maybe there is a dance to be done in order to survive election-wise. But on the trans issue, we have to dance as well?
Yeah, well, I didn't really see that one as him dancing. And look, Donald Trump is still a flawed political candidate. He's still a flawed man. He has a journey to continue to walk on as the rest of us. I've never said Donald Trump's the perfect candidate. Nobody on our side believes Donald Trump is a perfect candidate. We believe he's a candidate that has the best chance of disrupting the status quo. And he's proven that through a number of stances. But supremely, with our trade agreement in China and the danger there of China, that many people still want to try and dance around. I mean, you talk about dancing. We're really all dancing around that. I mean, allowing your mortal enemies, your national enemies, to make your antibiotics is as much of a dance as you could possibly imagine, right? And I'm not saying that there's a difference between I'm not trying to create a false equivalency between geopolitics and the morality and sanctity of life, because that is somewhat of a false equivalency. But again, all these Protestant Christians who believe in the sanctity of life, they want to do business and take their antibiotics from a country that has 400 million abortions. 400 million. You want to get your cell phones from a country that has 400 million abortions on record. Make us look like a picnic when it comes to abortion, okay? So again, I'm not making an excuse for Donald Trump.
Unpack that a little bit, Royce. In China, they're clipping babies at some astronaut.
400 million abortions have taken place in China. They've dwarfed us 10 times over, quite literally. 400 million plus abortions. But that's not my point. Listen, Donald Trump, I'm not making excuses for him. I didn't think the transgender answer was really him second guessing his position. I think it was more of a laughable. I think it was like an absurd question that he feels he even has to continue to answer. I can't speak for him. I don't know what he's thinking. The man's 75 years old. I can't speak on behalf of another man with any surety. What I can say is I appreciate that he said, look, I'm gonna keep my stance on transgenderism. But ultimately, what I think he's trying to do and what I think he's dealing with is something we all have to get comfortable with here. These wedge issues have to be placed in their proper priority, okay? Whether it's transgenderism, which I am one of the most outspoken people against, and abortion, which I am very, 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 very hard line on in many ways. But we have a country to save. I mean, now, here's where I think Donald Trump may be making a mistake. There are no moderate, purple, on the fence Democrats that are thinking about voting Republican that see Donald Trump go soft on the abortion question and think, now I can vote for him. That's not, he already put in a Supreme Court that ruled to bring the whole Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade case back into question. So that's already on him as an American president and as an American political figure. I don't think anybody's convinced that he's different in his pro-life approach because of what he answers in this interview, no matter what he says. But short of him coming out and basically saying, hey, listen, I've changed stances. I am pro-choice. Okay, he would never do that. He can do that from a political strategy standpoint. Short of him doing that, even if he did that, people wouldn't believe it. So I don't think him saying this is actually going to affect the outcome of the election the way that he or people around him may be advising him it will. But I do understand what he's dealing with conceptually.
Royce, thank you. I needed that. Sometimes I get a little shaky, get a little nervous. I, again, don't like the answers, but there is a bigger game to be played. And I like your point also in terms of it's like, hey, we're at the brink of World War III. And so let him play ball on the abortion issue, see if that saves him a few votes so that we can avoid World War III. Another good point of yours. Thank you, Royce. Great job as always. We'll see you next time. If you like this content, here's what you need to do. You need to leave a comment. Tell us what you think about the conversation Royce and I just had. And also support one of our great sponsors like Preborn. Preborn supports expectant mothers who are considering abortion, provides an ultrasound. Once that woman sees that baby's heartbeat, hears that baby's heartbeat, she's more than twice as likely to choose life. You guys can go to preborn.com/Jason. That's preborn.com/Jason, or hit pound 250 and say the keyword baby. We'll see you next time. Help us grow the Fearless Army. Pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all of your fearless friends.